For 3 years, I poured my soul into building a small but thriving craft coffee shop in my city. It wasn't just a business. It was the place where locals gathered, where first dates happened, where people came to feel at home. I named it the Roasted Bean, and it became my pride and joy. I worked ridiculous hours learning the nuances of coffee roasting, hiring the right baristas, and creating an atmosphere people loved. I scraped together loans, maxed out credit cards, and skipped meals to keep it afloat. When it finally started turning a profit, I felt invincible. But then came my business partner, Jake. Jake was charming and convincing, someone I brought in during the early days to help with marketing and networking. He owned 25% of the business, and at first, his contributions seemed invaluable. He brought in customers, struck deals with local suppliers, and made connections I could only dream of. But over time his attitude shifted. He started taking long business trips with no clear results, leaving me to pick up the slack. Then came the bombshell. One morning I walked into the Roasted Bean and found the locks changed. The signage was gone, replaced with a shiny new one. Jake's Coffee Company. I was frozen in shock. Called Jake, but my number was blocked. I tried contacting my lawyer, but it was a Sunday and there was nothing I could do. The next day, I learned the full extent of his betrayal. He had quietly maneuvered behind the scenes, filing paperwork to dissolve our partnership and transfer the business assets under his name. I was blindsided. My world fell apart. The business I'd worked tirelessly to build was stolen right from under me. I fell into a dark place, consumed by anger and helplessness. But then I made a choice. I wasn't going to let him get away with it. For the next few months I planned my revenge. First, I dove deep into the world of legal research. I learned about fraud, partnership agreements, and loopholes in business law. It turned out Jake had left a paper trail. Emails, forged signatures, and misfiled documents. He wasn't as smart as he thought. Second, I went public. I shared my story on local social media groups, attaching screenshots of emails and contracts to back up my claims. The community that had supported the Roasted Bean rallied behind me. Customers started boycotting Jake's new coffee shop, and negative reviews flooded his pages. But the final blow came when I found an ally. His former assistant, Lisa. She'd been fired after Jake's takeover, and she had dirt, a lot of it. Financial mismanagement, unpaid suppliers, and even a bribe to a local inspector to fast-track permits. Together, we compiled everything into a neat little package and handed it to my lawyer. When the lawsuit hit, Jake didn't see it coming. His assets were frozen, and his shiny new coffee shop was forced to shut down temporarily. By the time the dust settled, I had not only regained ownership of the Roasted Bean but also received a hefty settlement. Now the shop is mine again and business is better than ever. Customers come in every day to tell me how glad they are Jake's scheme didn't succeed. I've even hired Lisa as my operations manager. She's incredible at what she does. Revenge isn't always sweet, but in this case, tasted like the best cup of coffee I've ever brewed.